Kenya is a country in East Africa. At 580,367 square kilometers, 224,081 square miles, Kenya is the world's 48th largest country by area, with a population of more than 47.6 million in the 2019 census. Kenya is the 27th most populous country in the world. Largest city is Nairobi, while its oldest currently second largest city. And first capital is the coastal city of Mombasa. Kisumu City is the third largest city and also an inland port on Lake Victoria. Other important urban centers include Nakuru and Eldoret. As of 2022, Kenya is the third largest economy in sub-Saharan Africa after Nigeria and South Africa. Kenya is bordered by South Sudan to the northwest, Ethiopia to the north, Somalia to the east, Uganda to the west, Tanzania to the south, and the Indian Ocean to the southeast. Its geography, climate and population vary widely, ranging from cold snow-capped mountaintops on Mount Kenya with vast surrounding forests, wildlife and fertile agricultural regions to temperate climates in western and Rift Valley counties and dry, less fertile arid and semi-arid areas. The Republic of Kenya is named after Mount Kenya. The earliest recorded version of the modern name was written by German explorer Johann Ludwig Krapp in the 19th century. Fossils found in Kenya have shown that primates inhabited the area for more than 20 million years. Recent findings near Lake Turkana indicate that hominids such as Homo habilis 8 to 2.5 million years ago, and Homo erectus 9 million to 350,000 years ago are possible direct ancestors of modern. During excavations at Lake Turkana in 1984, paleoanthropologist Richard Leakey, assisted by Kamoya Kimeu, discovered the Turkana boy, a 1.6 million-year-old Homo erectus fossil. Previous research on early hominids is particularly identified with Mary Leakey and Louis Leakey, who were responsible for the preliminary archaeological research at Orla Gisele and Hyrex Hill. Later work at the former site was undertaken by Glyn Isaac. East Africa, including Kenya, is one of the earliest regions where modern humans Homo sapiens are believed to have lived. Evidence was found in 2018, dating to about 320,000 years ago, at the Kenyan site of Orla Gisele, of the early emergence of modern behaviors, including long-distance trade networks involving goods such as obsidian, the use of pigments, and the possible making of projectile points. The authors of 3 2018 studies on the site observed that the evidence of these behaviors is approximately contemporary to the earliest known Homo sapiens fossil remains, such as at Jebel Ayahout in Morocco and Florisbad in South Africa. And they suggest that complex and modern behaviors had already begun in Africa around the time of the emergence of Homo sapiens. The culture of Kenya comprises multiple traditions. Kenya has no single prominent culture. It instead consists of the various cultures of the country's different communities. Notable populations include the Swahili on the coast, several other Bantu communities in the central and western regions, and Nilotic communities in the northwest. The Maasai culture is well known to tourism, despite constituting a relatively small part of Kenya's population, and Somalis people dominated in the northeastern region of Kenya as livestock keepers and pastoralism. Kenya has a diverse assortment of popular music forms, in addition to multiple types of folk music based on the variety of over 40 regional languages. Drums are the most dominant instrument in popular Kenyan music. Drum beats are very complex and include both native rhythms and imported ones, especially the Congolese Kavacha rhythm. Popular Kenyan music usually involves the interplay of multiple parts and, more recently, showy guitar solos as well. There are also a number of local hip-hop artists, including J.U. Ikali, Afro-pop bands such as Sauti Sol, and musicians who play local genres like Benga, such as Akothi. Kenya is active in several sports, among them cricket, rallying, football, rugby, field hockey, and boxing. The country is known chiefly for its dominance in middle distance and long distance athletics, having consistently produced Olympic and Commonwealth Games champions in various distance events, especially in 800 meters, 1,500 meters, 3,000 meters steeplechase, 5,000 meters, 10,000 meters, and the marathon. Kenyan athletes, particularly Kalenjin, continue to dominate the world of distance running. Kenya won several medals during the Beijing Olympics, 6 gold, 4 silver, and 4 bronze, making it Africa's most successful nation in the 2008 Olympics. Kenya has been a dominant force in women's volleyball within Africa, with both the clubs and the national team winning various continental championships in the past decade. The women's team has competed at the Olympics and World Championships, though without any notable success. Cricket is another popular sport, also ranking as the most successful team sport. Kenya also has its own ice hockey team, the Kenya Ice Lions. The team's home ground is the Solar Ice Rink at the Panari Sky Centre in Nairobi, which is the first and largest ice rink in all of Africa. Kenya is known for the Big Five and the Great Wildebeest Migration. It's also known for its world record-breaking athletes, its rich biodiversity, and great safari destinations. Kenya is known for being home to Lupita Nyong'o and Barack Obama. Kenya is known for being home to the world's 26.2 miles 42 kilometers marathon record holder, Eliud Kipchoge. Kenya is famous of the phrase Hakuna Matata, brought to prominence by the movie Lion King in 1994. This phrase aptly describes the Kenyan people. Loosely translated, the phrase means no trouble, a philosophy held very dearly by most Kenyans. Kenyans do not stress too much about things they cannot change and will be found on social media platforms making fun of their plight. Kenya has won the world's leading safari destination 5 years in a row. From 2015 to 2019, Laikipia County has some of the best wildlife conservancies in Kenya. Everyone born in Kenya has seen a wild animal in its natural habitat at least once in their life. In some cases, animals and human beings are separated by a mere fence. Kenya is also known for flamingos. Flamingos are quirky, large, pink-hued, non-migratory birds. They will usually be found resting on one foot, which has not been scientifically explained yet. They are populous in 3 of Kenya's soda lakes, namely Lake Elementaita, Lake Bogoria, and Lake Nakuru. Kenya is known for its tea production and is among the top 4 tea production countries in the world. Among the most interesting habits of Kenyans is their love for tea, also called chai. You have not been properly welcomed in a Kenyan household if no one has offered you a cup of chai. Kenya's most popular sites, among it, Fort Jesus. Fort Jesus is a Portuguese fort built from 1593 to 1596 on Mombasa Island to guard the old port of Mombasa, Kenya. The site's layout follows the Renaissance ideal that the human body is perfectly proportionate. Turkana, as Africa's largest saline lake, is an important area for the study of fauna and flora. It is a breeding ground for the Nile crocodile, hippopotamus, and several venomous snakes. The site was placed on the list of World Heritage in Danger in 2018. Lame Old Town. The town is the oldest Swahili settlement and is built in coral stone and mangrove timber. It features inner courtyards, verandas, and elaborate wooden doors. The fusion of Swahili, Arabic, Indian, Persian, and European building styles make for an architectural delight. Today, Lame Old Town is an important center for the study of Swahili and Islamic culture and history. The bright futures of Kenya. Kenya's economy is relatively strong, and this is independent of natural resources. The Nairobi Stock Exchange is one of the largest and best functioning in Africa. In 2008, the government launched the Vision 2030 economic plan, whose objective is to transform Kenya into a middle-income country, providing a high-quality life to all its citizens by the year 2030. In line with this, Kenya has already seen massive investment in infrastructure. Key to the Vision 2030 goals is an ambitious project called LAPSET, which is basically a Lame port, Lame Juba Addis railway line, an oil refinery, a Lame Juba Addis oil pipeline, airports, a Lame Juba Addis highway, and resort cities. Kenya has a relatively well-educated workforce and a good internet penetration rate, which has made it an attractive investment point for many multinationals. Recently, IBM announced it would place its first African research lab in Nairobi. The fact that it did so over Nigeria and Rwanda would strengthen Kenya's claim to being Africa's leader in information and communication technology (ICT). Kenya is quickly getting a strong reputation in the ICT sector with great innovations, such as M-Pesa. One of the major investments in the ICT or business sector would have to be Konza City. Konza City is a multi-billion high-tech science and technology park that will include a residential estate, hotels for accommodation, shopping malls, health facilities, and schools. The futuristic city, to be built 60 kilometers south of Nairobi in Machakos County, is set to be one of the most successful in Africa, competing economically and culturally with the best city in the world. The business process outsourcing BPO ventures there are expected to transform the country's GDP. It also represents a shift from agriculture to a more service-based economy. Kenya also happens to be setting up Africa's largest wind farm near Lake Turkana. Northern Kenya, Turkana has one of the most consistent and predictable winds blowing anywhere in the world. The thing in Turkana that is really about to change Kenya's fortunes would have to be the recent discovery of oil. In March, Kenya announced oil finds that may be larger than those recently found in Uganda. In June, Tullow Oil announced that the oil find was larger by a third of what they initially thought. The same company then announced Kenya's first significant gas find 70 kilometers of the coast of Malindi. This was just an introduction. In the second part, we will discuss the full safari nature and animals. Thank you for watching the video. Please don't forget to subscribe the channel for more historic heritage and bright future of the present world.